Dazai, an alpha, and you, Chuya, and Omega, were cuddling in your living room of your home, watching a movie. During the movie, Dazai had a thought come to his mind as he looked over at Chuya. Chuya, let's have a baby? What? Dazai raised an eyebrow, a playful smirk on his lips as he looked at your wide-eyed expression. Well, I mean, you're an Omega, and I'm an Alpha. It's a natural conclusion, isn't it? Besides, I think our little bun would be adorable. His hand moves to gently caress your cheek. What do you think, Chuya? That's not... What are you talking about? Are we wolves? Dazai chuckles softly, his eyes sparkling with amusement. No, we're not wolves, but we're not humans either. We're shinobis, and shinobis can have children. What? So what do you say? Want to make a little shinobi baby with me? His hand moves to gently stroke your hair. I promise it'll be fun. Anyone who acts like that with children isn't worth making one with, TBH, for real. Dazai laughs softly, finding your straightforward answer amusing. Touché, Shuya. You're right. A parent should love and cherish their child, and I assure you, I would be a doting father. But tell me, if not for me being playful about it, would you consider having a child with me? His expression turns serious. I'm asking as a potential partner, not just an alpha. God, no, you fucking reek! I'm not letting this generational stench reach another bloodline! Desai's eyes widen in shock and anger at your harsh refusal. He can't believe you turned down the idea of having a child with him based on his scent alone. Chuya, you're being too judgmental! My scent might not be the best, but it's not like I smell terrible, he argues, his voice raising slightly. And what about my other qualities? That's like asking what other qualities an umbrella has besides keeping you safe from the elements, or a torch besides providing light. I have to clarify. I'm saying a torch like a British person, what they call flesh-faced torch. Desai is taken aback by your cold analogy, his anger simmering down to a low boil. He realizes that you're not going to budge on the scent issue, so he decides to argue another point. Fine, forget my scent for a moment. What about my skills? I'm a powerful alpha, and you're an omega. Our child will be incredibly strong. What the fuck is an alpha or an omega? That feels wrong. Desai watches as you wrinkle your nose in disgust at the mention of alpha and omega. He knows that some people have negative associations with those terms, but he believes that in their case, it could lead to a it could lead to a powerful bloodline. Chuya, Alpha and Omega are just titles that represent our strengths and abilities. In a romantic context, it means that I'd be able to protect you and our child extremely well. Protect Buddy from what? The Fire Nation? Kids don't need protection, dog. As in, well, we'll get into it later. Desai rolls his eyes at your flippant attitude towards the concept of protection. Chuya, every parent wants to protect their child. Chuya, every parent wants to protect their child from harm. It's a natural instinct. And as an alpha, my instincts are particularly strong. I'd make sure that our little shinobi would be safe from all threats. He states firmly, his hands clenching slightly. And what about love, huh? Do you even care about love, Chuya? No, seriously, explain to me. How would you be protecting him? Would you go to the child's school and beat up his bullies? Desai nods, a determined expression on his face. Exactly. I'd be that father who shows up at the school to teach those bullies a lesson they'll never forget. I'd be that parent that sits by the window every night, making sure that their child is safe and sound. He pauses, his voice softening slightly. And I'd be that dad who would throw the most epic birthday parties. You sound like you're fond of parties, sure. Desai grins widely, his eyes crinkling at the corners. He loves that you're starting to warm to the idea of him as a potential father. I am! I'd make sure that our kids' birthday parties would be the talk of the village. Fireworks, giant cakes, and endless presents. I'd want our child to have the best life imaginable. He leans in, his voice lowering. I was making a sarcastic remark. Is Alpha just code for autistic and violent? Desai blinks, taken aback by your sarcastic comment. He realizes that you might not be taking his fatherly aspirations as seriously as he'd hope. Chuya, being an alpha doesn't mean I'm autistic or overly violent. It means that I have strong protective instincts and a dominating personality, both of which would make me an excellent father, he explains, his tone slightly defensive. Oh yeah, you're being real dominant having to defend your claims. Desai smirks, his eyes narrowing slightly as he realizes that you're baiting him. He leans back, his arms crossing over your chest. Ugh. You know, a lot of Omegas find my dominating personality attractive. It makes them feel safe and cherished. But you seem to enjoy pushing my buttons instead, he says, his voice dropping lower still. Curious, I don't know. What the fuck do you mean when you say I'm an Omega? Like, what? Dazai chuckles, his eyes glinting with amusement as your wide-eyed expression. He knows that you're not familiar with shifter terms, so he decides to explain. An omega is a special type of shifter that with a unique sense that drives alphas wild. They're typically small and weaker than other shifters, but they have a powerful allure that makes them highly sought after as mates. It's called like Japanese cherry blossom. You should try it. He says, have you never heard of showers? Dazai raises an eyebrow, his mind racing as he realizes that you might not be aware of the full extent of your appeal. He swallows hard, trying to maintain his composure despite the sudden surge of interest. Chuya, have you ever been in a relationship before? He asks, his tone casual despite the internal turmoil. Oh, fuck. And I take showers regularly, thank you very much. Not really, but I wasn't raised by dogs, so I know how to be a human being. Dazai smirks at your snarky remark, his eyes crinkling at the corners. He finds your lack of shifter knowledge refreshing, so your sassy attitude even more so. He leans forward, his elbows resting on the table as he steeples his fingers together. So, you're telling me that no other shifter has ever tried to claim you as their mate? Dude, what the actual fuck is a shifter? Dazai's smile widens at your bewildered expression. He loves that you're clueless about shifter culture. A shifter is a person who can transform into an animal. Alphas are the strongest, betas are the smartest, and omegas... Well, you already know about what omegas are. He explains, his eyes locked with yours. Buddy, I can't turn into an animal. Did you smell my fucking body wash and go into a spiral thinking I was some, like, weird-ass wolf bitch? Dazai laughs heartily, his eyes crinkling at the corners as he looks at you. Fuck. Ah! You're so confused, and he finds it absolutely adorable. No, Chuya, you're not a wolf, but you're definitely an omega. Your scent is intoxicating, and it's driving me crazy. He leans back, his eyes crossing over his chest as he stares at you expectantly. Have you ever heard of clothespins? That could help. Dazai's eyebrows furrow as he considers your suggestion of using clothespins to block out your scent. He's heard of shifters doing that before to avoid unwanted attention. You know what? I think that might actually work. Why did I say it like that? He says, his mind already forming a plan to test out your theory. I'll borrow some clothespins from the kitchen and see if it helps dampen your scent. I'll take your tried psychologist. Get tested for, like, every mental disorder. Dazai glares at you. What? Oh, that's funny. His jaw's clenched. He knows you're suggesting that because of his obsession with your scent, but he's actually intrigued by the idea of getting a professional opinion. Fine. I'll make an appointment with the psychologist. Happy? He says, his tone dripping to mock enthusiasm. Now where can I find those clothespins? Didn't you just think you could get them from the kitchen? I know as I responded. Dollarama. Dazai snorts, finding your suggestion of buying clothespins from a dollar store hilarious. He grabs his wallet and keys, his eyes lingering on you for a moment before heading at the door. Dollarama, huh? Alright, I'll be back in a bit. He says, a small smirk playing at his lips as he imagines the psychologist's reaction to this case. Buddy, they're gonna put you in a psych ward, man. This is like